I am kind of frustrated at the way that the Portland Trail Blazers are being managed. I think this team is being pretty much woefully mismanaged right now, and I think it's impacting the development of young players like Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, Donovan Clingan, guys like that. I feel like there seems to be a miscommunication in the direction of this team that is negatively impacting them as a whole right now. They've won 4 games in a row. I'm not sure that's a good thing, in all honesty. And I want to talk about my thoughts about this Blazers franchise and how I feel like they're just not managing their young talent properly and not giving themselves the best chance to succeed in future seasons because of a lack of communication about the present and the near future of the coaching staff, the front office, things of that nature. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 2,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple NBA videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So on the surface, winning 4 games in a row is generally a good sign for a team, including a win tonight over a very shorthanded Hornets team, in which case, in all honesty, I thought they didn't play all that well. They won the game, but they did not execute great. 40%, 29% from 3 was not a super impressive game at all. Just the Hornets did not have much offense at all on the court tonight. So I don't know. The thing that bothers me about this game, Scoot Henderson plays 23 minutes, 1 for 3 from the field, 2 points, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. Doesn't really ever even get an opportunity to get into the flow of the game. But you know who does get an opportunity to get in the flow of the game? Guys like Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons. Here's my problem. Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons might be on paper the 2 best players on this team right now. Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons are also, in all likelihood, not huge parts of the future of this team. Simons potentially. Jeremy Grant, no, he is not. And Jeremy Grant, I mean, I will say the numbers are decent. Now, inside the arc, they're trash. He's 38.5% inside the arc this season, but he is 38% from outside the 3 on 6 attempts a game. He's not the defender he once was, though. He doesn't seem to have the same effort defensively as he once was. It almost feels like he's at times kind of phoning it in a little bit. At a high level, he's a very good player, but he's getting paid a ton of money. He's on a near max contract, and I think he's happy with that, and he just doesn't care that much at the end of the day about winning. And there's a lot of players like that, and can you really entirely blame him? No, maybe not. But Jeremy Grant's also 30 years old. This is not a player who is a part of the future of this team. Anthony Simons, who is a decent player, is, again, 25 years old, averaging 18 and 5, a little bit better than a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. The efficiency isn't terrible. I mean, he's a good player. I don't know if he's a future centerpiece at this point with the amount of money he's going to request. I really don't know. And you look at the rest of this roster. I mean, guys like Tamani Kamara, who's been super solid defensively and shows flashes as a shooter as well. Interesting young piece there. Shaden Sharp, who you want to be a part of the future of the franchise. Absolutely. Yes, he's only 31% from 3 this year, but he's also 21 years old, and he shows a ton of offensive flashes. Inefficiently, yes, but averaging 17.7 points per game. Denny Avdia, a guy who might get traded, might not. Blazers fans were annoyed at me in my last Blazers video where I said he might get traded. I wouldn't be shocked if he did. If he does, it'll be for real significant value. But if he doesn't, he's also another guy who I think does have the ability to be a future centerpiece of this team in a lot of ways. And he's also only 24 years old. Scoot Henderson's 20. Having a better year than last year, but still not a great year. But the thing about Scoot is that Scoot has played great as of late. And Scoot plays awesome. For really the first time in his career, strings together a significant run of successful performances in a row, and then gets benched. Plays 14 minutes against Orlando and 23 minutes against Charlotte. But even more importantly than playing 23 minutes against Charlotte, the fourth quarter, he does not play a single minute in the fourth quarter until the 129 mark right here when Shaden Sharp fouled out of the game. He didn't play for the rest of the game. But Delano Banton gets fourth quarter minutes. I don't think Delano Banton is realistically in the long-term plans of the Trailblazers as a super key important rotation piece. That's no disrespect to him, but this bothers me. It bothers me a lot. It feels like a mismanaging of a team that, again, this is a bad team. Like, let's be honest, they're not in position to compete at all for anything close to a playoff spot or even a play-in spot. When you look at the conference standings, they're the 13th seed in the West. They're 6 games back of a play-in spot. They're playing much better as of late, but they are not a good basketball team. This is not a team that is in position to be a real contender. But here's what I think is happening. Chauncey Billups and his staff aren't sure if they're going to have jobs next season. So they're trying to win games to have jobs next season. I get that. The problem is that is counterintuitive to what the goal of this team should be, which is to acquire assets and build for the future and get experience and cohesiveness and chemistry between their top key young dudes, guys like Scoot and Shaden Sharp and Donovan Clingan, who I haven't even talked about, but again, Donovan Clingan's growth, I feel like in the same way, is kind of being studied. He's only playing 16 minutes a game because you have guys like Robert Williams playing 17 minutes a game in the 16 minutes he's played. DeAndre Ayton's played 30 minutes a game in 32 minutes. Those guys, again, are not likely to be future cornerstones to your franchise. Those aren't guys who I think are expected to be here long term. I don't understand. They're just, what I do seem to understand, what I assume anyway, is that there's kind of a lack of communication between the front office and Chauncey Billups and the coaching staff, between the ownership and Jody Allen, who isn't even supposed to be the owner but refuses to sell the team, and the front office. Like, I think there's probably a lot of miscommunication in terms of the future of this Blazers franchise, in terms of the guys who are going to be the decision makers in the front office and on the coaching staff. They have to find a way to get on the same page, because this is not benefiting them. They should be looking for trade partners for Jeremy Grant and trade partners for DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams and maybe Anthony Simons and maybe Denny Avdia, depending on what you could get for him. If you can get a couple first round picks, you might have to consider. Like, in general, those are the guys who you should be considering at least listening to offers for and trying to move, because the future of your franchise is Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp and Donovan Clingan and other young assets. And maybe Denny Avdia is a part of that, and maybe Anthony Simons even is a part of that. But as a whole, I don't think they've done a good enough job, really, of putting Scoot in the best position to succeed. That's your number 3 overall pick. That's the guy who's supposed to be the cornerstone. Guys like him and Shaden Sharp need to have opportunities to fail and then to have the opportunity to succeed. I mean, look, Scoot in this 4-game stretch here, best 4-game stretch of his career by far, shooting really efficiently across the board from 3, really 5-game stretch to this Miami game, like playing great across the board, passing the ball well. I'm sure the turnovers are a bit high, but overall, I mean, he's been doing a lot of good things recently. And you're going to stunt that by bringing him off the bench again and not playing him significant minutes, not putting him in positions where he is the primary ball handler running the offense. How do you expect your number 3 overall pick to grow when he's not put in a situation where he's getting the opportunity to grow? And this is a bad team. Like, that's what they should be doing, is trying to figure out if Scoot is the point guard of the future. It's just baffling to me that he comes off the best stretch of his career and it's like, okay, you're back to being an afterthought now that everybody's healthy. We're really trying to win games. The reason they're trying to win games again is because Chauncey Billups doesn't want to lose his job. I don't get it. I don't understand the direction of this franchise. It feels like the front office might have one direction they want to go in, the coaching staff has another direction they want to go in, and it just doesn't mesh. And it's leading to a team that, yeah, they're playing some winning basketball recently, but they're not a very good team. And they don't feel like they're improving their chances to improve in the future, because they're not maximizing the young talent they have right now and allowing those guys to grow. And they're not adding to their assets for the future and giving themselves an opportunity to surround that young talent with more talent in the future. Because right now, again, when you look at the standings, after winning 4 games in a row, they're up to like what, the 8th worst record in the league? Like literally the 8th worst record in the league. They're running themselves out of Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey territory. Like, not that Dylan Harper probably is the right fit for this team anyway, but they're getting themselves further and further away from where they want to be in the draft this year. Again, this just feels backwards and it feels poorly executed, and it's just not what I want to see as a fan of the NBA. I feel like they are wasting their young player talent right now and not putting those guys in the best position to succeed in the future. So, I don't know. It's frustrating and I just wanted to talk about it. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.